This video, I'm going to be breaking down one of the easiest mini schemes or defensive type schemes that you can use in college football 26. The cool part about this defensive mini scheme is that you're going to have a man-to-man coverage base, a zone coverage base, a blitz from man, and a blitz from zone that all look the same pre-snap, which is why I think that this defense has a little bit of play in college football 26. Now, if you enjoy this breakdown and you want to get my full offensive or defensive ebooks for college football 26, my full content library is in our school community. If you are not a school community member yet, it's only $10. It's going to get you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks for both college football and for Madden. So if you want to sign up for that, that link is going to be in the description down below. We are in the 3-2-6 defensive playbook today. It's one of my favorite playbooks in the game. And we're taking a look at this dime rush. Now, this dime rush formation is a really interesting formation. It's basically a dime version of the 4-3 even 6-1. So you're going to get a little bit more favorable alignment in terms of being able to defend more spread out type sets. And it also features what I think is one of the better ways to play two-man under in this game. Now, in our coaching adjustments, what I like to do with this is I love to turn auto flip defensive play call off. The reason that I like auto flip defensive play call off is simply because I like the ability to be able to kind of control the defensive line with that. We're going to turn our defensive motion response disabled. We're going to have our option D on conservative, aggressive, conservative, conservative. That's pretty much what I've been doing so far this year. And then our safety width is going to be on default, but our safety depth is going to be on close. You don't really want it to be tight, because that's too probably far down to the line of scrimmage. You also don't want it to be on prevent or deep, because that's way too far off. So I think close is kind of the best in between both worlds. Now, the base of this defense is one of the biggest tips I can give you for running this is when you run this defense, you want to have your shell on a two-man shell, okay? You want to have your shell on a two-man shell. And the three-ish plays that I like to use here are the DB Blitz, the Dime Blitz 2, and the Tampa 2. Those are your three, what I call base plays. And the reason why those are your three base plays is because you really don't want to be audibling at the line of scrimmage. And the reason you don't want to be audibling at the line of scrimmage in this game is because it will give away what you're doing. You will not actually be able to maintain that coverage shell disguise once you audible from whatever play you came out into, whatever play you're audibling into. So you really don't want to audible unless you have to. The only thing you would want to ever audible into is cover two man. So we're going to come out in DB Blitz and kind of show you what this looks like. So you'll see here, we're out here in the DB Blitz. And if we audible to cover two man, you're going to notice nobody moves. The only person that moved was slightly. This guy moved like a little bit, but really not much. And then when I pinch my D line and I press, I get pretty much the same alignment, right? The safeties might move, which is a whole nother conversation for a different day. But in general, like, I'm good to go, and my defense is basically set up. So what I'm able to do when I'm playing cover two man is if they block the running back, my user becomes a free defender. If they don't block the running, or if they send the running back on a route, what I'll do is I'll switch stick onto one of these deep halves. Normally, it's going to be the deep half that is on the right side of the screen. So anyway, you'll see here how this kind of goes. And we're just going to switch stick right here once we see that the running back goes out. And we're able to kind of play defense pretty decently, right? It's just a coverage D. There's really nothing more to it than that. It's just a basic coverage day. The only thing I forgot to say in terms of the whole reason why we had auto flip off is you do want to flip the play at the play call screen. So you want to flip the formation. And now we'll show you kind of the blitzing aspects of this. So the first aspect of the blitz is what I call a six-man kind of edge pressure. And basically, we're just going to pinch the defensive line. We're going to slant the defensive line inside. And we're basically going to call the defense kind of like this. What I like to do is this left side defensive end, I like to man him up on the running back. And the reason why, this will allow me to play kind of over the middle of the field. And if the running back blocks, sometimes this blitz will still come in. So as you see here, we're going to generate kind of some edge pressure off the slot corner. And we're going to put ourselves in position to be able to get some pressure home. Again, I like to man this guy up here. And then if they block the running back, what normally is going to happen is you'll see that this still has a pretty decent chance of looping around. So you have the running back manned up. You're technically only sending 5, but you still have a chance to come in if the running back blocks. The other thing that you could do if you wanted to, if you're confident that they're going to block that running back, is you could send 6. So you could just leave it, and you could send 6 like this, and you could potentially get it off the right side as well, right? And that's ideal, because then once you start to send 6, you really want that to come in if they are blocking running back. So you see here, running back stays to the right side. The slot corner is kind of being weird. He's not coming in exactly like we want him to, but you see the idea, right? So you have that, and then the cool part is you can audible to cover 2 man, and now it looks exactly the same. Now, the other little component of this defense is actually in this year's game, you might not know this, one of the things you can do is you can send 3, okay? So what I'll do is I'll send 3 like this, and I'll just man up a D tackle on the running back, and we'll just say, okay, we're going to play super shed ball, and we're just going to have really locked down coverage. That's another option within the defense. The other thing that you could do within this cover 2 man, if you wanted to, is you could create a cover 2. And the way you would do that is you would just mid-read your user, and then you would just go to town on your adjustments and have it look like this. You can literally just create a cover 2 on the fly. But I like to mix between cover 2 man, cover 2 zone, cover 0. And then what I'll do is I will also mix in a cover 2 blitz. Now, I don't ever audible to this. I have to come out in the cover 2 man, cover 2 blitz. Otherwise, it's really not ideal. So dime blitz 2, this is probably the best blitz within the formation. And all you're going to do is pinch your D-line, press. You see it looks exactly like that cover 2 man. And now we got a little bit better of blitz angles, and you're going to see a little bit more consistency in terms of that slot corner coming in, especially if they send everybody out on a route. Another thing you could do is you could blitz this middle linebacker. You'll see that when you pinch him, he goes into the gap. And if you wanted to, you could send 6 this way as well. This is also an option. The cool part about this send 6 is it's probably going to come in a little better against a blocked running back, just because it's a little bit better from an alignment perspective. So if you ever wanted to do that, you certainly could. You certainly could do that. Now, if I send 5 like this, just show you real quick here. This is probably, it's not super crazy in terms of sending 5 that way, though. But I do like the slot corner send 5, where we do it like this. And then if you want to use the slot corner, you can. Or if you want to use the middle linebacker, you could do that as well. But this is a pretty decent little B gap off of that left side. Now, just like we talked about a little bit ago, you can man this running back up. And most of the time, he will not block this blitzer. You see there we man him up. And he kind of still tried to go over there. But anyway, it also kind of works into a natural quarterback spy. Another thing is, if you want to go real crazy, you can try to send 3. We'll just see if we can get to send 3. Didn't quite get it exactly like we wanted. But those are some ways in which you could make this a little bit more, coverage friendly. But anyway, the other thing with this too is you have soft squats, which are match principles. You can shade down to make them hard flats, shade up, and you'll make them cloud flats. And then what you can also do is, if you want to put that guy in a vertical hook over here on the left side, then you could basically just create a cover 2 shed defense out of it. And again, this all looks the same. One of the biggest principles of defense is you want your maximum coverage defense to look the same as your man coverage, to look the same as your zone, to look the same as your man blitz. You want it all to look identical, right? So anyways, that is the dime blitz 2, and we've gone over the DB blitz 2. And we'll also show you this Tampa 2. So we talked about cover 2 man and how we're going to use that as a coverage D. And this Tampa 2, we will also use this one as a coverage D as well. So the way that I like to use Tampa 2 as a coverage D is I like to start on the mid-read, but I'm going to very quickly just switch stick to one of these vertical hooks. Typically the vertical hook on the weak side of the field. So if the formation is strong to the right, then I'm going to switch stick onto the vertical hook on the left side. Another thing that I love to do in this game is put this guy in a middle third, put this guy in a bluff blitz, and we're just going to send 3. And the reason I like this is just because you don't necessarily need to send 4 in this game. You will still get sheds if you send 3. And, every now and then it's good to kind of just give them a little bit of a change up. But also I want to scream at them if they are going to block somebody. So I can always just, if I need to, hot blitz that slot corner and give myself a chance, for some decent edge pressure off of the right edge. So anyways, that is the dime rush scheme. I'll give you a play that if you want to try it out within this is not a bad changeup. Again, you want to do it out of this shell though. That is really important. And the little changeup here is going to be this free safety, or I'm sorry, let me see if I can find it here. This Fox fire zone, and you're just going to pinch D-line, press, and this is where we're going to use our this slot corner. So literally all we're going to do is we're just going to shade underneath. You can drop this D in into a hard flat, put your user in a vert hook if you want to. And then on the left side, I like to play, cover 2, right? Just like normal. And what you're going to see here is now we're going to create a little bit of a crossfire blitz type of style that you can also mix in to this entire defense. So again, this is just something little, nothing too crazy, but I do think it's a decent way to kind of craft some alternate pressure. If you wanted something a little bit different than just a slot corner blitz, this now adds the middle linebacker within it, which can be decent at times. So anyways, that's the dime rush mini scheme. That's most of it. There's a lot more to this defense, but in general, this is going to get you a pretty good start. And obviously, you don't want to blitz all game, especially this year. You want to kind of mix these blitzes in with the coverage. You want to have coverage, and then you want to have blitz, coverage, then blitz. I think that is super, super important. If you do send it off the right side, it should still work fine for you. The only difference being obviously that it's a little bit of a tell because we're having to move him. So that's kind of the biggest thing in terms of I just don't like tells when I'm trying to put together a defense. I really don't want to have as many tells. I want it to be fairly symmetrical. I want it to look the same every time, just so they don't know what I'm doing. So they might think I'm blitzing, but I'm actually playing the coverage defense, right? They might think this, but I'm actually doing this. So anyways, those are some tips and tricks and how to use the dime rush defense. I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you're going to love the school community. It's where we post all of our full offensive, defensive ebooks for Madden and for college football. If you want to sign up for that, $10. The link is in the description down below.